Hi everyone, hope you're all well. Today I want to talk about the Prometheans and their weird lack of presence in Halo Infinite so far, causing many Halo fans to presume that they've been completely removed from the franchise. Now, the Prometheans were first introduced to us back in Halo 4 and have been a part of the series ever since. However, the Prometheans have never been fun to fight, although the overall premise of the Promethean faction is really interesting, so I'd hate to see them not appear at all. Halo Infinite, while being a spiritual reboot, is also the final game in the Reclaimer saga, so it would make sense for the Prometheans to return to properly finish their story. But I have a strange feeling we won't see them again, at least not in the main game. Let me explain. There has been no hint so far suggesting the return of the Prometheans. We've had multiple trailers, including gameplay from the campaign, highlighting Master Chief's battle against the Banished. We've had Halo Infinite toys of just about everything, including the new Banished bosses, but there's been no sign of Prometheans. The final nail in the coffin was seeing the multiplayer gameplay overview, where not one familiar Promethean weapon was showcased. Now, we did get a small glimpse at a weapon that many people believe is Promethean due to its design and the way it fires. The thing is, the Halo community has no clue what this gun is. Some people think it's a railgun, others a scatter shot. Hell, I've seen some people think it's a shotgun. To me, the design feels alien in nature, resembling something Forerunner. However, I truly think we might only see this weapon and maybe the Sentinel Beam as the only Forerunner weapons in the game. We've seen practically all the Halo Infinite weapons during gameplay now, besides the Hydra Launcher and Stalker Rifle. The key thing to note is that there are many Banished weapons coming to the game, so that doesn't leave much room for all the Promethean weapons we're so used to seeing back in Halo 4 and 5. It would also be quite odd for 343 to showcase just one Promethean weapon during the multiplayer overview, compared to the large amount of Banished weapons, which is again why many people think the Prometheans have been removed, or at least heavily dialed down. We know the Prometheans were very disliked in Halo 4 and 5, and with 343 trying to satisfy the fans, I've got a feeling they won't be seen, which would be a shame in my opinion. I've got to be honest, I never enjoyed fighting the Prometheans. However, if 343 just overhauled their mechanics and made them more fun to fight, then maybe people would eventually come around to them. It's quite clear the Banished will be the main enemy in Halo Infinite, which if you've seen my previous videos, you'll know I'm super excited about that. But I'd hate to see an interesting faction like the Prometheans get tossed aside completely, without properly wrapping up their story arc. At the very least, I was hoping we would get maybe 1 or 2 missions with them as the main enemy, before switching focus to the Banished. But I've got to say, it feels like that won't be the case. As you all know, Halo Infinite is a spiritual reboot for the franchise, which means 343 will try to evoke all the feelings players had when first playing Halo Combat Evolved. The Banished will feel very similar to the Covenant in terms of gameplay, with of course some new and exciting elements, and that is what makes them the perfect replacement for the Covenant. 343 keeps saying that Halo Infinite will be all about Master Chief's fight against the Banished, and they've not once mentioned the Prometheans. They could be saying that to throw us off, but there hasn't been any indication of the Prometheans returning. I fully believe we'll see the Flood at some point during Halo Infinite's campaign, and the Flood will tie in well with the spiritual reboot element, so I guarantee that's something 343 had to think about, because they can't have too many enemy factions in the game. I don't think the Prometheans are truly gone, however it's hard to see them actually being a part of the core campaign. The Promethean faction is really interesting, and with a few redesigns and changes to weapons, they could finally reach their full potential. I just hope they haven't been sidelined completely. Like I said earlier, just 1 or 2 missions would be enough to wrap up their story, to then focus on the fight against the Banished, although I think the created conflict will get dealt with during the time before Halo Infinite, so we could get some in-game explanation as to why the Prometheans have just disappeared. With Halo Infinite having large open world environments, we could end up having to find out what happened to the Prometheans via data pads. Now, it wouldn't be ideal, but it would be one way to tell everyone what exactly happened to them. Remember, the majority of the Halo fanbase despise the Promethean faction, as they just weren't designed well for gameplay encounters to make them fun and memorable, so many people will be quite happy to not fight them again. I was someone who seriously disliked fighting them, although I still want to see them get a proper conclusion. To wrap this video up, I do think we'll see the Prometheans during Halo Infinite's campaign, even if only for a brief section, although 343 will need to ensure that they are actually fun to fight this time around. They shouldn't be bullet sponges, they shouldn't teleport as much, and they need to sound less like Transformers and more like Forerunner soldiers. Take a look at this Bungie concept art of a Forerunner soldier with a single blue eye. That looks way better in my opinion than any of the soldier designs we've seen so far. I actually am a fan of the Promethean Knights, so I hope to see them return in some capacity. capacity. There's a very high chance we don't see the Prometheans at all during Infinite's main campaign, and we might end up seeing a full campaign DLC dedicated to just them with the sole purpose of finishing their story. With Halo Infinite being a platform for the next 10 years, I can certainly see that happening if we don't see them during the story. Halo Infinite's campaign is shaping up to be amazing. I'm not sure what part the Prometheans will play in the grand scheme of things, but I believe 3 for 3 will give them a solid conclusion, one that will hopefully satisfy us all. Alrighty guys, this is going to wrap it up for today. Sorry for a shorter video, but hopefully you still found it enjoyable. What are your thoughts on this? Do you want to see the Prometheans return, or would you prefer to see them leave the franchise? Let me know in the comments below. Just a quick heads up, I'll be streaming my reaction and breakdown to this week's Inside Infinite update here on my channel. And I'd love for you guys to join me, as this is something I do with you all every month, and it's a ton of fun. Hope to see you there. Anyway fam, thanks so much for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to support me that little bit extra. Thanks guys, have a good one.